There are numerous options for creating arcs, and we will explore a few of them. Open the Arcs1 project file, which contains a few walls and doors. We will draw the door arcs representing the direction in which the doors swing. First of all, arcs are always portions of circles, so you can create arcs by trimming circles. Or you can use the dedicated arc command, and we'll explore both methods. Go up to the Circle flyout on the Draw panel and choose Center Radius. I'd like to create a circle which is centered at the hinge of this door, but instead of eyeballing it by clicking approximately where I think that should be, I should snap it precisely. This time, click on Object Snap on the status bar, and it will open the Object Snap tab of the Drafting Settings dialog box. This allows you to set up running object snap modes which stay on, so you don't have to use Shift right-click every time you want to call for an object snap. I'll select Endpoint and click OK. Now, I'll position the cursor over the hinge point of the door and click to specify the center point for the circle. Then I'll come up here and position the cursor right on the end of the door. I'll click a second time to specify the radius of the circle. Next, click the Trim command on the Modify panel. On the command line it says Select Objects or Select All. The first part of the Trim command requires that you choose which objects will be cutting edges. And in this case, I'll just press Enter to select the default option, Select All. So all the objects can act as cutting edges. Now I'll click this portion of the circle to trim it away. We're left with an arc. I'll press Enter to complete the command. Just to make sure that this truly is an arc, let's turn on Quick Properties, and then click on the arc without issuing a command. It says right here it's an arc, and it gives the properties of that arc. It has a radius of 3 feet, which apparently is the opening in the wall and the size of the door. I'll press Escape to deselect the object and close Quick Properties. This time, let's use a specialized arc command to draw the second door swing. I'll open the flyout, and you can see that there are many options here. Some of these options have the same items, like Start, Center, End. Down here it says Center, Start, End. So they're just in a different order. It's really a matter of personal preference which one you use. In this case, I think I'd like to specify the center point first, and then the start of the arc and the end of the arc. So I'll click here, and then the command line says Specify Center Point of Arc. I'll come over here and click this hinge point, and then the start point would be, it could be here or it could be here. But it has to be on the door because the default option for arcs is to create the arcs in a counterclockwise fashion. So if I click here, you'll see that as I move the cursor, the arc is swinging out counterclockwise from the start point. I'll click here to end the arc, and the command is completed. Let's try that again. This time, I'll use this method, Start, Center, End. If I choose the start point here, we're going to have a problem that you'll see. I'll click here, and then it asks for the center point. I'll click here, and then the end point here. You see the problem? The arc is created in a counterclockwise fashion from start to end points. Because I chose this as the start point, I ended up with this problem. So let's erase that. I'll click the Erase tool, select the object, and right-click to Enter and complete the command. Let's try that again. Start, Center, End. So the start would be here, the center is here, and the end is here. That method worked pretty well for creating door swings. But there are occasions where you want to create curvilinear walls or curved items. And to do this, you can string a series of arcs together. I'll type A, Enter, to execute the arc command. The default method is to click 3 points, the start point, the second point, and the end point. If you press Enter and repeat the arc command, and then press Enter again, the arc will continue on from the last one, and the second arc will be tangent to the first, so that there's a nice curvature where the arcs meet. I'll press Enter to repeat arc, Enter again to continue, and in this way I can create a nice curvilinear form without any discontinuities or kinks between the arcs. You can edit arcs by clicking on them without issuing a command, and I'll turn off Quick Properties to get it out of the way. The grips are these blue squares, and they represent the key points of the arc, the start, midpoint, and end of the arc, and the center point. I'll hover the cursor over this grip and I see a little menu that appears. This is called a multifunctional grip. It says stretch or radius. I'll choose stretch, and you can see what I can do here with this grip. I can stretch its point, and the start and end points stay where they are. But the center moves, because remember, arcs are always portions of circles. So if you change the curvature, it makes sense that the center point would move. You can alternatively change the radius of an arc, and that makes a concentric portion of a circle. You can also stretch or lengthen an arc by selecting one of its endpoints. And in this way, you can reshape arcs very easily. You now have some practical experience creating arcs, and are aware of their creation options.